Money, we all want it. Some chase it their whole lives and still feel broke. Others seem to have less, yet live stress-free, happy and in control. Ever wonder why? Here's the thing, it's not about how much you make. It's about how you think about money. This isn't just a finance book. It's a mindset guide, a blueprint for how to actually get wealthy without losing your sanity. By the end of this video, you'll understand why luck and timing matter more than you think. Why patience beats trying to get rich fast. And why the smartest financial decisions are the ones you can actually live with. Stick with me because the money game isn't just about cash. It's about freedom, independence, and the life you actually want to live. Chapter 1: The False Image of Success. Money. It's strange, right? We spend our entire lives chasing it, but few people ever stop to understand what being wealthy really means. Now close your eyes for a second and imagine there's two people waiting at the same red light. One sitting in a brand new Tesla, music playing, sunglasses on, feeling unstoppable. Next to him, another man in an old Toyota, windows down, AC broken, just hoping to make it home without another repair bill. Here's the twist, both of them think the other one has it better. That's the secret most people miss about money. It's never really about what you have, it's about what you think you need. Who's richer? Most people would point at the Tesla, but here's the thing, the car doesn't tell the story. The man in the Tesla might be drowning in credit card debt, working overtime just to keep up appearances. While the man in the Toyota, he could quietly have a six-figure investment account. And no one would ever know that. Right there is the false image of success. In America, we've been trained to confuse wealth with spending. But they're not the same. Wealth is what you don't see, the money that's saved, invested, and quietly growing while no one's watching. The house, the vacations, the designer brands, those aren't signs of wealth. They're signs of consumption. And the louder someone tries to look rich, the less likely they actually are. Real wealth doesn't scream. It whispers. Here's the takeaway: the next time you feel like you're falling behind because someone else looks ahead, stop and ask yourself, am I trying to look rich? Or actually be rich? Because wealth isn't about flexing what you have, it's about building what you can't lose. And that mindset, that quiet shift, is where real financial freedom begins. Chapter 2: The Power of Compounding. Here's the thing about money, it doesn't grow in noise. It grows in silence. Slowly at first. And then, when no one's expecting it, it explodes. That's the quiet magic of compounding. Think of it like planting a tiny seed. You water it every day, and for months it looks like nothing's happening. You start to wonder if it'll ever grow. But one morning, there it is, a small sprout pushing through the soil. And years later, that same seed becomes a tree that gives you shade for life. That's exactly how wealth works. Most people just quit watering too soon. Take Warren Buffett, for example, one of the richest men alive. Over 90% of his fortune came after his 65th birthday. Not because he discovered some secret trick, but because he simply stayed invested longer than everyone else. That's the power of time. Money multiplies quietly when you give it patience. It doesn't reward the one who rushes, it rewards the one who waits. Here's the thing, small returns don't look exciting. A 10% gain might feel slow, almost boring. But give that same growth a few decades and it turns into a fortune. That's how real empires are built, one quiet year at a time, and compounding. It's not just about money. It's about habits. It's about learning. It's about discipline. Every small choice you make, saving a single dollar, reading one more page, taking one more step toward your goal, compounds. Each small act stacks quietly until one day it transforms everything. So if it ever feels like you're moving slow, don't stop. Because compounding only rewards one kind of person, the one who doesn't quit. You don't need to be fast. You just need to keep going. That's how small seeds turn into legacies. Chapter 3: Never enough. Here's a strange truth about money. No matter how much you have, someone out there will always have more. And if you let that thought control you, you'll never feel rich. There's a point in life when you stop chasing numbers and start chasing peace. But most people never reach that point. They keep running faster, harder, until one day they realize they don't even know why they started. We've been trained to think that more is the goal. A bigger house, a newer car, a higher paycheck. But what no one tells you is, the finish line keeps moving. The more you get, the more you want. And what once felt like success starts to feel small again. That's the trap, the illusion of enough. See, true wealth isn't about having more, it's about needing less. It's when your happiness stops depending on the next thing you buy. It's when you realize freedom doesn't come from money. It comes from contentment. A billionaire once said people don't want money, they want control, and he was right. Because control means choice, the power to say no, to walk away, to live on your terms. If you can wake up tomorrow, live life your way, spend time with the people you love, and sleep peacefully at night, you're already wealthier than most. So here's the quiet truth: chasing enough is like running on a treadmill that never stops. You'll get tired, you'll sweat, but you'll never move forward. The real win? Knowing when to step off and finally live. Chapter 4: Freedom. Here's the truth: money isn't really about money. It's about control. Control over your time, your choices, your life. Imagine this. It's Monday morning. Two people wake up. One jumps out of bed, already checking work emails before even brushing their teeth. The other, they take a slow sip of coffee, watching the sunrise. Who's richer? The first one probably makes more money, but the second one owns something the first doesn't: freedom. That's the real currency of wealth. The ability to wake up and say, I'll do what I want, when I want, with who I want. Think about it. What's the point of a six-figure paycheck if your boss owns every hour of your day? What's the point of a big house if you never have time to enjoy it? We've been told that success means earning more, but real success is needing less. So here's the lesson: when you think about your financial goals, don't just chase numbers. Chase flexibility. Chase peace, because at the end of the day, the richest person in the room isn't the one with the biggest paycheck. It's the one who can walk away anytime. Money buys comfort, but freedom buys happiness. Remember, you don't work for money, you work for control over your time. That's the real definition of wealth. Chapter 5: Getting Rich vs Staying Rich. Here's the thing: getting rich and staying rich are two completely different skills. One takes courage, the other takes humility. Most people think the goal is just to make money, but history is full of people who made fortunes and lost them just as fast. You can take risks, get lucky, and hit it big once. But to keep that success, you've got to learn how to survive when things go wrong. Getting rich is about offense. Staying rich is about defense. It's about protecting what you've built, not showing off what you've earned. Take it from the great investors. They don't bet everything on one play. They stay humble, knowing that no matter how smart they are, the world can change in a second. Because staying rich means expecting chaos and planning for it. So what's the lesson? Don't let success trick you into thinking you're invincible. Save more than you think you need. Take fewer risks than you think you can handle. And never forget, luck might get you to the top, but discipline is what keeps you there. Wealth isn't built in one good year. It's built by surviving every bad one. Anyone can get rich once, but staying rich? That's a lifelong mindset. Chapter 6: Tails. You win. Here's the truth: success doesn't come from being right all the time. It comes from being right enough times, and letting those few wins carry you. In investing, in business, even in life, most things don't work out, but a handful of moments change everything. That's what we call tail events: rare, powerful moments that shape the entire story. Think about Amazon. Jeff Bezos had hundreds of failed experiments, products nobody remembers. But one success, Amazon Prime, changed the company forever. It's the same in your life. Most decisions won't move the needle, but a few will define your future. The problem is people quit too early. They lose patience after one loss, one rejection, one bad month. But if you keep showing up, keep playing the game, those rare wins will eventually find you. That's why the best investors don't chase perfection. They chase survival. They stay in the game long enough to catch the tails when they come. So what's the takeaway? You don't need to win every time. You just need to stay in long enough for the few big wins to make up for the rest. One breakthrough can erase years of struggle. One opportunity can rewrite your story. That's how life works. Heads, you lose. Tails, you win. So don't quit on a bad day. The next tail might be closer than you think. Chapter 7: You're not alone. Here's something we all forget: everyone's playing a different game with money. But most of us act like we're all playing the same one. Imagine this. One person is saving for retirement. Another is trying to pay off student loans. Someone else is betting on crypto, hoping to double their money this year. Now think, can those three people really follow the same financial advice? Of course not. But that's exactly what most people try to do. We scroll through social media. We see someone bragging about flipping stocks or buying rental properties. And suddenly, we feel behind. But here's the truth: you don't know their story. Not their risks. Not their goals. Not their timeline. What's smart for them might be foolish for you. And what works for you might look boring to them. And that's okay. Because your money story is yours. So here's the takeaway: stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. We all start from different places. And we're all headed somewhere different. The goal isn't to win someone else's game. It's to master your own. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. So breathe. Stay consistent. And remember, wealth isn't a competition. It's a personal journey. Chapter 8: The Seduction of Pessimism. Here's the thing: bad news sells, and it always has. Turn on the TV, scroll through your feed, and you'll see it. The market's crashing, the economy's collapsing, the world's ending again. We're wired to believe the worst because it feels safer. Pessimism sounds like wisdom. Optimism sounds naive. But here's the truth: throughout history, progress has always outlasted disaster. Every crash, every war, every crisis eventually gave way to recovery and growth. Think about it. If you had invested $10,000 in the US stock market 50 years ago and just left it alone, you'd have hundreds of thousands today, even with recessions, crashes, and pandemics in between. That's the power of believing in the long game. See, pessimism feels smart because it makes you sound cautious. But optimism, the realistic kind, takes courage. It's choosing to believe that tomorrow can be better, even when today feels heavy. So what's the takeaway? The world isn't falling apart, it's just noisy. And if you can stay calm when everyone else is panicking, you'll see opportunities no one else can. Optimism isn't about ignoring problems, it's about trusting the process. Because progress, just like wealth, doesn't happen fast, it happens quietly. Bad news grabs attention, but patience builds fortune. Chapter 9: The Price of Success. Here's something most people never talk about: everything worthwhile comes with a price tag. Not just money, but stress, uncertainty, and patience. We love stories about success, the wins, the fame, the moment it all pays off. But no one talks about the nights you can't sleep, the months when you question everything, or the times when you're working and no one's watching. That's the hidden cost of success. And in the world of investing, that price is called volatility. The ups and downs, the fear, the doubt, that's the ticket you pay for long-term growth. Most people want the returns without the risk. They want wealth without the wait, but it doesn't work that way. You can't collect the reward if you refuse to pay the fee. The truth is, every market crash, every bad year, every scary headline is part of the admission price for building wealth. You can't skip it. You can only decide if it's worth it. So what's the takeaway? Don't run when things get hard, because those moments, the ones that test your patience and your faith, that's where your success fee gets paid. Most people quit before the payoff, not because they can't afford the price, but because they didn't expect it. Remember, nothing valuable is free, so when things get tough, just smile and say, this is the cost of greatness. Chapter 10: The Power of Independence. Here's the truth: the real goal of money isn't luxury, it's independence. The freedom to make choices without fear. Think about it, most of the stress in life comes from lack of control. You hate your job but can't leave. You're stuck in debt, stuck in routines, stuck living someone else's plan. Money changes that, not because it buys stuff, but because it buys time. The ability to say no when something doesn't feel right, to take a week off without guilt, to spend a day doing nothing and not worry about the bills. That's real wealth. The irony is, most people chase money so hard they forget why they wanted it in the first place. They trade freedom for more work, more pressure, more noise. But if money doesn't make you freer, it's not doing its job. So what's the takeaway? Don't build a life that looks rich but feels trapped. Build one where you control your time, not the other way around. Because when you own your time, you own your life. Independence is the highest dividend money can ever pay, and it's worth more than every luxury combined. Chapter 11: Reason over Rational. Here's something most people never realize: we don't make financial decisions in spreadsheets. We make them in real life, with fear, with dreams, with pressure. You can be the smartest person in the room, but when your kid needs surgery, when your job's on the line, when markets crash, you don't think rational, you think survival. That's why the idea of being completely rational with money doesn't work in the real world. People don't live for numbers, they live for peace of mind. You might save less than you should, you might keep more cash than the experts recommend. And that's okay, because sometimes peace is worth more than returns. Being reasonable beats being perfectly rational because reasonable keeps you in the game long enough to win. So what's the lesson here? Your money plan doesn't have to impress anyone. It just has to help you sleep at night. Because at the end of the day, the smartest financial decision is the one you can live with, not just the one that looks best on paper. Reason keeps you steady when logic falls apart. And in the long run, steady always wins. Chapter 12 Surprise. Here's the truth: the biggest risk in finance isn't what you see coming. It's what you never imagined could happen. Every decade has its surprise: a market crash, a pandemic, a new technology that rewrites everything, and each time people say nobody could have seen that coming. But that's the point. Surprises by definition surprise us. We build our lives expecting the future to look like the past. But the world doesn't care about our charts or our confidence. It changes fast. That's why real investors, real survivors plan not for predictions, but for resilience. You can't know what will go wrong, but you can build a life that can handle it when it does. A business with a cash cushion. A mindset that doesn't panic. A lifestyle that bends but doesn't break. So what's the lesson? Expect surprises. Plan for the unknown. Because the future will always humble the people who think they've figured it out. Luck will surprise you. So will loss. But resilience, that's what keeps you standing when the storm hits. You can't predict the future, but you can prepare for it. Chapter 13 Room for Error. Here's the reality: life is messy. Markets crash. Plans fail. People get sick. Opportunities vanish. And no matter how smart, how disciplined, how rational you are, things will go wrong. That's why the most important rule in money and in life is to leave room for error. Think of it like a safety net. You save more than you think you need. You invest conservatively enough to survive the shocks. You don't bet your life on one perfect move, because the perfect move rarely exists. Even the most legendary investors and successful people get it wrong sometimes. Warren Buffett, he made mistakes. Bill Gates, he had losses. The difference is they left room to recover. They respected uncertainty. So what's the takeaway? Plan for the worst, hope for the best. Expect surprises. Keep cash cushions. Maintain flexibility. Because life will throw you curveballs, and when it does, you want to be standing, not scrambling. Here's the ultimate truth: wealth isn't just numbers on a screen. It's the freedom, the patience, the resilience to handle whatever comes your way. It's the power to keep going when things go sideways. Money is unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. But if you leave room for error, you'll survive, you'll thrive, and you'll have the peace of mind that real wealth brings. So plan smart, stay humble, keep flexibility in your corner. Because the real secret to success isn't getting everything right, it's having enough room to recover when you don't.